What is going on, everyone? Welcome to my channel, and today we got another creepy pasta for you all, so let's dive right into it. Story title: The Letters That Preceded the Crime. At the beginning of the winter of 2013, in a quiet small town in Minnesota, life was proceeding at a steady pace. But everything changed suddenly when a group of residents in a particular neighborhood began receiving mysterious paper letters on their doorsteps. These letters were simple, written on plain white paper with black ink. They bore no return address and seemed to appear out of nowhere. At first, the letters didn't contain direct threats, but they were disturbing. For example, one resident received a quote from a psychology book about split personalities. Another received a quote about the use of hypnosis in interrogation. And yet another received a message stating that someone was watching them and that they should be careful. As days passed, more unsettling letters showed up. One resident got a note that read, "Your worst fears are being watched," along with a date and time, March 14th, 11:37 p.m. But what made these letters truly creepy was that the residents often noticed the presence of these strange occurrences at the exact time mentioned in the letters. For instance, Mrs. Hazelton from number 43 Willow Creek noticed that the garden cat disappeared from her house only after receiving a letter indicating that the cat would disappear at 7:29 a.m. the next day. On March 14th at 11:37 p.m., as indicated in one of the letters, there was a massive power outage in several houses in the neighborhood, leaving people in the dark and frightened. Even stranger, no one seemed to know why the power went out. The police were baffled. There were no fingerprints on the letters, no security camera footage showing anyone delivering them, and no eyewitnesses. Many residents started wondering if the person sending the letters was somehow aware of their habits and routines. They couldn't imagine anyone living in their quiet neighborhood being capable of such sinister behavior. Others suggested that maybe the letters were just a cruel prank played by some bored teenagers. But as time went on and the letters continued to arrive, the residents grew increasingly disturbed. One of the people who received these strange letters was Jessica Moore, a night nurse at the local hospital. She lived in a big house on the outskirts of the neighborhood. She received a letter with a quote from a book about human behavior, and then there was a date and time, 12:47 a.m. She thought nothing of it until a few days later when she came across a photograph attached to a letter. In the picture, someone had captured a shot of her house from an angle she'd never seen before. It was taken from somewhere between the tall trees directly opposite her house. The photo was dark and grainy, probably taken with a long exposure, but it was enough to send chills down Jessica's spine. She tried to convince herself it was just a prank, but the more she thought about it, the more uneasy she felt. Her instincts told her that whoever was behind this was watching her. She couldn't shake this feeling off, especially since the letter also included a specific time, 12:47 a.m. on March. Now Jessica was scared. She'd never had any problems in her quiet neighborhood, and the thought of some lurking stalker nearby was terrifying. Every time she glanced at the photo, she imagined someone with malicious intent hiding in the trees across the street. But then, the nightmarish incidents began. Small things happened that left Jessica puzzled and afraid. She'd come home from work late at night and find her back porch door open, even though she always made sure to lock it before leaving for work. Then there were the times when she'd hear the basement lights flicker on and off by themselves. And occasionally she'd hear soft footsteps in the hallway when she was returning home in the middle of the night from her shift at the hospital. Each incident chipped away at her sense of security, making her question if she was truly alone in her house. Jessica's fear intensified when she checked her home's security cameras one night and saw something that made her heart skip a beat. On the monitor, a long shadow passed before the rear camera. She couldn't see a face or any features, just a dark silhouette against the faint light filtering through the trees. Before she could make out any more details, however, the recording stopped abruptly. The next morning, Jessica woke up shaken, unable to understand what had happened. She decided to take action. She reached out to a friend of hers, Daniel Levy, a private investigator who specialized in cybercrime and mysterious hacks. Daniel arrived at Jessica's house equipped with his advanced technological tools. He examined the letters, their timing, and the coincidences associated with each event. Using his knowledge in technology, he was able to trace the origins of the cryptic quotes and discovered that they were all from a popular psychology textbook. Intrigued, he looked into the author of the book, Dr. Albert Vance, and found that he had once taught at the local university. Further digging revealed that Dr. Vance had been dismissed under a cloud of suspicion due to allegations of unethical behavior. Dr. Vance had been accused of using his students as subjects for his behavioral experiments, but no solid evidence was ever found, and the case was closed. With this new lead, Daniel decided to look into other missing persons cases and unsolved mysteries from around that time. As he pored over old files, he came across a case that sent a shiver down his spine. The case involved a series of burglaries where the thieves had inexplicably chosen certain dates and times to strike. The police had been baffled by the seemingly random nature of the crimes. But now, connecting the dots, Daniel realized that the timing of these crimes also coincided with the phrases in the psychology textbook. Determined to solve the mystery, Daniel began tracking down former colleagues and students of Dr. Vance. One of Dr. Vance's former students led him to a hidden community of amateur enthusiasts and hobbyists who gathered online to discuss various aspects of human psychology and behavior. Daniel found a member of the group who claimed to have attended the same university as Dr. Vance and lived in the same neighborhood as Jessica. This person confirmed that Dr. Vance was known for his fascination with human behavior and his obsession with controlling variables to influence outcomes. With this new information, Daniel was confident that he was on the right track. He began monitoring the neighborhood, observing the residents, and studying their routines. His keen eye caught a peculiar detail. One house in particular, number 38 Willow Creek, seemed to be at the center of many of the strange occurrences reported by the residents. People coming and going at odd hours, lights flickering on and off, and unusual noises coming from inside. Daniel decided to stake out the house, and what he witnessed over the next few days was nothing short of shocking. He watched as strange devices were installed on various parts of the house, including the roof, windows, and even the chimneys. Some of the devices resembled small cameras, while others had antennas that seemed to be picking up signals. Daniel's suspicions grew. Could this house be the source of all the disturbances? Was someone orchestrating these events from within? As he delved deeper into his investigation, Daniel stumbled upon a hidden entrance in the basement of the house. He cautiously approached it and peered inside. What he saw was a secret room filled with sophisticated surveillance devices, tracking software, and a detailed map of the neighborhood. With trembling hands, Daniel made a shocking discovery. The map had pins marking each house, and the dates and times mentioned in the letters corresponded to vulnerabilities and potential targets for disruption in each household. In a flash, it all became clear to Daniel. Someone had been hacking into the smart home devices of the neighborhood, manipulating them to cause chaos and fear. The mastermind behind it all was the owner of the house, a reclusive tech genius in his early 30s named Ethan Riggs. Ethan had been expelled from the local university years ago, following an investigation into his bizarre behavior. Rumors swirled around him, talking about how he used to spy on his classmates, hack into their computers, and even manipulate their personal devices. The pieces of the puzzle fell into place. Ethan's expulsion was likely due to his obsession with control and manipulation. After leaving the university, he moved back home and channeled his energy into creating a network of devices to spy on his neighbors. He chose targets randomly, sending them creepy letters to study their reactions and find patterns in their daily lives. When Daniel uncovered Ethan's secret room and the extent of his elaborate system, it was like a scene from a spy movie. The police were called in, and Ethan was arrested. He was charged with multiple counts of espionage, invasion of privacy, and attempted psychological manipulation. Although there were no physical victims, the psychological damage he inflicted on the residents was significant. Some of the residents still jump at sudden noises. Others have developed severe anxiety and trust issues. As for Ethan, he remains behind bars, his brilliant mind now trapped in a world where he has no control. The letters he sent are now preserved at the local police station, serving as a chilling reminder of one of America's strangest and most brilliant psychological crimes. And that's the end of the creepypasta. If you like this one, please leave a like. Subscribe so you don't miss any more of our stories, and I'll see you next time.